The world begins quietly. You step into a forest just as the first light slips through the trees. The air is cool, damp with dew, and everything holds its breath. The leaves do not rustle. The birds are not yet awake. Even your thoughts seem to wait. Above you, a soft beam of sunlight leans down through the canopy, finding a single leaf and resting on it gently, not like a strike, but like a whisper. And in that whisper, something ancient begins. Light, invisible, weightless, fast. Meets green. You watch without watching as a quiet change unfolds in the cells of that leaf. Not a spark, not a bang, just a shimmer of purpose, tucked deep within tiny chloroplasts. This is not the kind of energy that explodes. It's the kind that builds, slowly, steadily, softly. This is where the story of life begins again each day. You breathe in, and the air smells green. It's not just fresh, not just clean, but living. Every leaf around you is quietly at work. Don't compete. They don't rush. They only listen to the sun and respond with the patience of a billion years. And somehow, their stillness teaches you to slow down too. Your body, warm from sleep, absorbs this calm. The sunlight on your skin is the same that touches the leaf. It's the same that warms the soil. It's the same that stirs water in the veins of the plant. You are a witness to something ordinary and yet profound. Photosynthesis. It's the most elegant transformation in the natural world. But before names, before explanations, just notice what's happening. Inside the leaf, small structures like emerald, lantern's chloroplasts begin to glow with invisible energy. They absorb light not like a mirror, but like a deep well drinks rain. They take in photons, those tiny packets of light, and with them, a signal to begin. Each photon is a gentle knock at the door, and inside, molecules begin to shift and respond. This light doesn't simply pass through. It is captured, held, transformed. You don't need to see the molecules move to know they do. Just as you don't need to see the heart to know it beats. You can feel it in the rhythm of morning, in the slow pulse of the forest. In your own chest as you breathe deeper, there's a silence in this work that makes it easy to miss. But it's here, life making life, without a sound. The sun, 93 million miles away, reaches out and touches this tiny leaf, and in that touch, energy begins to move. It will feed trees, grow apples, power bees, and fill lungs. But for now, in this moment, all it does is shimmer through the green. You walk slowly. Around you, more leaves catch light. Each one a small factory of softness. There is no smoke, no noise, just a quiet assembly of atoms into meaning. You feel that somehow, this is the way energy was always meant to move, not in wires or roaring engines, but in light and leaf, in breath and branch. There is balance here, a dance between sun and earth, between energy and matter. The leaves do not hoard the light, they take just enough. They share through roots and fruits, through shade and air. You are part of this sharing, whether you notice or not. Somewhere nearby, a vine curls upward. It has followed light since its first breath, not with eyes, but with memory written in green. Now it reaches out with confidence, knowing the sun will be there. You follow its path with your eyes, and you understand. Plants trust the light, trust it to return, trust it to feed, trust it to whisper again tomorrow. And as you sit quietly, watching a single sunbeam shift across the surface of a single leaf, you begin to understand something deeper, that this is not just chemistry, it's a relationship. Light and life. Meeting with care, the leaf doesn't just receive, it responds, it transforms. This is the beginning of photosynthesis, a word so big it can feel distant, but here, in this hush, it feels close. It's like something your body already knows. Like something your cells remember, because in a way, they do. Every part of you has been fed by the sun through the quiet work of leaves. The fruit you ate, the grain you cooked, the breath you took just now. It's all part of this chain that begins with light and ends with life. And now you are here still, breathing. Part of the green breath of the world. The light shifts slightly, warming your shoulder. A bird calls gently in the distance. The day is waking up. But in you there is no rush, just a calm knowing that the leaf continues its work. The sun still shines, that the story goes on, and you wonder, what happens next inside that green cell? What secrets wait in the pigments that paint the world alive? Follow that question, slowly, gently, into the heart of the leaf itself, where the color green becomes something even more miraculous. Green? It has always meant something to you. The color of quiet fields, of shaded summer afternoons, of life itself. When your eyes rest on green, something inside you exhales. Your breath slows, your shoulders lower, your mind, so often cluttered, finds room to breathe. But what your eyes see is calm. It's really a sign of something astonishing green is not. Just color. It is alchemy. And at the heart of this color is chlorophyll, the silent sorcerer of life on earth, inside each leaf. Within its delicate cells live hundreds of tiny ovals called chloroplasts. Each one contains chlorophyll, the pigment that gives plants their vivid green hue. But chlorophyll is more than a color, it is a gate, translator between the language of light and the world of living matter. Imagine chlorophyll as a soft-spoken scholar, standing at the edge of sunlight and saying, I can use this. And it does, with perfect grace. When light touches a leaf, chlorophyll doesn't reflect it like glass. It absorbs it, but not all light. It is choosy, selective, thoughtful. It takes in red and blue wavelengths, the ones with the perfect rhythm for change. Lets green bounce back, and that's what your eyes see, a leaf painted in reflected calm. But beneath that reflection, something begins. Each photon that chlorophyll absorbs brings with it a tiny spark of energy. Not an explosion, but a tingle, a quiet nudge that excites an electron. The electron dances away, energized, like a ripple on still water. It leaves the chlorophyll and travels into a chain of tiny molecules, like stepping stones across a hidden stream. This is how light begins to move, and with each electron's step, energy flows. It flows not as heat or flame, but as subtle shifts within the molecular world, controlled, elegant cascade. One that plants have refined for over 3 billion years. Chlorophyll is your first guide into this unseen world. It is the bridge between the cosmos and your cells. Because even though you are not green, even though you are not a leaf, your life depends on what this pigment does. The sugars you eat, the air you breathe, the energy in every muscle of your body, all of it comes, in one way or another, from chlorophyll catching light. It's a gentle thought, isn't it? That something so quiet, so small, does so much. And what's even more beautiful, it does not work alone. Chlorophyll is part of a team. Nestled in the thylakoid membranes of the chloroplast, a lush world within the leaf, where tiny photosystems wait like nets to catch the sun. Each photosystem is a complex structure built to pass energy carefully, step by step, never wasting a drop, like a symphony of precision. It's like wind weaving through 1,000 tiny chimes. The sun may seem far, fiery, and loud when its light reaches the leaf. Chlorophyll receives it with ceremony. It's as if the plant bows slightly and says, "Thank you. Now, let's begin." You lie back now, imagining those pigments at work. You see not just color, but intention. It's not just light, but transformation. Chlorophyll doesn't shout. It doesn't burn. It absorbs, converts, and hands energy gently to the next step, the next molecule, the next cycle, the next breath. Like passing a cup of warm tea down a long, steady line of hands. No one rushes. No one spills. This is the rhythm of life. And as you think about it, you realize chlorophyll is not just the color of calm. It is the cause of calm, because it holds the power to feed a planet, and it does so silently. It turns chaos into order, light into food, sky into sweetness. Your body, your bones, your thoughts all have roots in the green. You let that truth settle around you like a blanket, that every moment you have lived is in some small way a gift from a molecule that knows how to drink. Light, and now, as you drift gently towards sleep, you wonder, if chlorophyll gathers the energy, then how does the plant begin to use it? What comes next in this quiet cycle when light has been caught and water waits to be split? Go there next. It's the part where water, too, learns to let go. Water, it's been with you your whole life, in your cells, your breath, your tears. It moves with the tides, hums in rivers, and drips quietly from leaves after rain. But inside the leaf, water does something so delicate, so powerful, it almost feels like a secret. It splits. Not in a crash or a boil, but in a whisper. Inside each chloroplast, in the soft green light, water molecules are drawn in like honored guests. 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen, simple, small, familiar. Then, something remarkable happens. Through a carefully orchestrated reaction, the water is gently pulled apart. This is called photolysis, literally light splitting. Sunlight gathered and delivered by chlorophyll gives just enough energy to make the separation possible. 1 photon touches an electron, which stirs and moves, and in its wake, water gives way. The bonds that once held the molecule together, bonds ancient, quiet, strong, are undone with the grace of a breath. You might imagine this as a soft release, as though the water simply exhales. Hydrogen is freed, full of promise. Oxygen, too, is released, not with drama, but with gratitude. It floats away through tiny pores in the leaf, joining the air that surrounds you now. The very air you breathe tonight may carry atoms once held in a leaf, split softly by light. That thought is enough to make you pause. You breathe in deeply, slowly, and feel the leaf's gift in your chest. But the most important part, the part the plant treasures most, is the electron. That tiny, energized particle dances away from the split, full of purpose. It travels through a sequence called the electron transport chain, a name that sounds mechanical, but in truth it moves like a lullaby. Step by step, the electron passes from molecule to molecule, giving a little of its energy at each stop. And with each gift, the plant builds something useful, a battery of sorts, a gradient of protons, a quiet store of power that will later help build sugars. No energy is wasted, no movement is rushed. This is how life powers itself, not with fire or combustion, but with electrons slipping gently from one embrace to the next. You imagine them now, these electrons, soft sparks, drifting down a green corridor, lighting lamps as they go. Their path is steady, calm, and ancient. Same reaction, repeated across continents, through jungles and wheat fields, and even houseplants by your window. The same process, unchanged for over 3 billion years. And you are watching it now in your mind. From the light that stirred the chlorophyll, to the water that opened its heart, to the electrons that now glide through the plant's inner world. All of it unfolds without sound, without smoke, without waste. It is a system more elegant than any machine. Still, it asks nothing from you except perhaps your wonder. The plant never calls attention to its work. It never brags. It just does what it has always done. Take what is given and use it wisely. Light, water, air, turned into life. Turned into breath. Turned into nourishment. Go. You too can live this way. With less noise, with more grace. With the quiet rhythm of the leaf. You feel that rhythm now as your heartbeat slows and your breath deepens. Your body settles into the softness around it. You are not just learning photosynthesis, you are entering it. You're a part of the calm that lets energy move gently through the world. And just as your thoughts begin to float, a question stirs gently in your mind. If electrons carry the sun's gift forward, where do they go next? What does the plant build from this quiet power, now that light and water have done their part? Let's follow the current into the breath of the world itself, where air becomes food. And your exhale becomes a tree's tomorrow. Your breath is more than air. Each exhale, soft and unnoticed, carries with it something precious. Carbon dioxide. A molecule invisible to your eyes, but essential to the rhythm of the planet. And now, within the stillness of a leaf, the breath finds its way home. Carbon dioxide moves gently, slipping into the underside of the leaf through tiny pores called stomata. These openings are like miniature mouths, always listening, always. Tasting the air, they open to let co in, and in doing so, begin the next chapter of the plant's quiet work. You may never see a stoma, but you've felt their work all your life. With every breath you take, with every apple you eat, with every tree you shade beneath, you're living within their care. Inside the leaf, the carbon dioxide molecule floats through the moist inner air until it reaches the stroma, the watery space inside the chloroplast. It drifts there, waiting, until the plant is ready to do something extraordinary here. With energy already stored from the sun and electrons passed down like candlelight, the plant begins to transform the invisible into the tangible. It begins to fix the carbon, not like a repair, but like setting a loose idea into form, anchoring it. This process is called the Calvin cycle, but you don't need the name right now. You only need to imagine what it feels like. It's like weaving lace from light and air. It's like catching a drifting thought and turning it into a poem. The plant, in its green silence, takes the carbon and makes it solid, part of something sweet and real. Carbon dioxide molecules are stitched together, slowly and precisely, with hydrogen from the water and energy from the light.
Ow.
These ingredients, sun, air, water, come together in a dance that only the plant knows, and what they become is sugar glucose, a simple sugar. A soft packet of stored sunshine. It doesn't taste sweet yet. It's just the beginning. But from here, the plant will build everything. Starches for storage, cellulose for strength, fruits for seed, nectar for bees. All of it begins with this quiet chemistry in the green, and that sugar, that sun-made sweetness feeds you. To dot the bread you eat, the rice in your bowl, the fruit you hold gently in your hand. It all began with breath, caught by a leaf and made into fuel. You exhaled, the leaf inhaled, the leaf exhaled, you inhaled. You are partners in the oldest conversation. On Earth, that is the beauty of this cycle. It isn't just a process, it's a relationship. And it's built on giving. The plant gives you oxygen, clean and calm. You give the plant carbon dioxide, rich and full. Neither of you hoards. You share, even without knowing it. And tonight, as you lie still, your breath rises and falls in rhythm with the trees. Somewhere nearby, a leaf is opening its stomata. It does not know you, not by name, not by shape, but it knows your breath. It pulls the carbon in and begins its work. Quietly, gently again, and now you know it too. You know that your exhale is not waste, it's gift. That the air you release is food for forests. That each breath, taken or given, is part of a longer, larger breath, the inhale and exhale of the world. You begin to feel that breath inside you, a rhythm older than thought, arising and falling, that matches leaf and lung alike. You're not just observing the Calvin cycle, you're inside it. You're resting within the heartbeat of Earth's chemistry, and even as your body slows, even as your thoughts drift towards sleep, the leaf continues, it builds and weaves, molecule by molecule with care. It stores energy not with greed, but with patience. The sugar it forms is not rushed, it is quiet and complete, ready to feed, ready to share. And you wonder, if this is how the plant begins to make food, then how does it send that food onward?
How?
Does sugar become sap, strength, or seed? What happens to the sweetness once it leaves the leaf? Let's follow it down through stem and root, into the places where darkness and light join hands. Imagine a wheel turning slowly, steadily, silently. Not a wheel of wood or metal, but one made of light and memory. A molecular carousel deep within the leaf, moving with perfect rhythm. This is the Calvin cycle, the quiet machine that builds life from air. You are there now, resting among its turning. It begins with carbon dioxide. 3 molecules, light as mist, float into the stroma, the liquid interior of the chloroplast. They're greeted by a gentle hand, an enzyme called rubicio. You don't need to remember its name, only that it is kind, ancient. An essential drubsco takes carbon and holds it still like a child cupping fireflies. It brings them together with molecules already waiting. forming something new, something real. From air and energy, matter begins to take shape. The process moves in cycles, not harsh steps, but soft turns. Each loop adds a piece, then another, then another. Hydrogens from water, energized by sunlight, join in. ATP, the battery built from the light, powers the work. Together, they shape carbon into sugar. You picture the sugar now, not as crystals or syrup, but as potential. Glucose, a gentle 6-carbon ring. Energy that can move, grow, or rest. To the plant, it is more than food. It is choice. With this sugar, the plant decides. Should it feed a growing stem? Should it send sweetness to its roots for storage? Should it hold energy in a fruit to offer the world? You see now that the leaf is not just a surface, but a sanctuary. A quiet green chamber where sun and air become the future. The Calvin cycle. Turns again, crafting more glucose. But it never hurries. It has no need to rush. The plant knows. Slow is safe. Slow is strong. Slow is enough. You, too, begin to feel that slowness. It's the kind that lets thoughts settle. The kind that invites rest without urgency. You lie still, letting your mind circle with the cycle. You imagine one of the sugars being formed. You follow it through the plant's veins, phloem. They're called soft highways of sap. The sugar travels downward, toward roots, or upward, toward fruit. It may become a peach, or a petal, or the core of a towering tree, all of it built from carbon, water, and light. All of it touched first by the dream within the stroma, and, in that dream, you find yourself drifting. The Calvin cycle doesn't sleep. Even as night falls, the plant remembers the sun. It holds the energy, the hydrogen, the carbon, like folded plans for tomorrow's work. The stroma is silent now. But still, the wheels turn. Your breath slows. Your chest rises and falls like the leaf on a breeze. You are part of the same rhythm, and as you sink deeper into stillness, a question returns, soft, curious. If the sugar is made, where does it go? How does the leaf choose? What role does root and stem play in this green and golden journey? Let's follow the sweetness. Let's see how the plant grows, rooted in darkness, reaching for light. Up above, the leaves glow in the sun's embrace. Down below in the dark earth, roots stretch silently through the soil. Between them, you lie at the center of a quiet connection. A green thread pulled between sky and ground. The leaf gathers light, the root gathers water. And together, they build life in stillness. It's not a race. It's not a struggle. It's a partnership. The sugar, formed in the leaf's gentle laboratory, begins its journey. It travels through narrow vessels, phloem winding like quiet rivers through the stem. These vessels carry sweetness from leaf to root, from crown to soil, and in return, water rises up, pulled by thirst, pulled by need, through a separate set of vessels called xylem. The plant moves in two directions at once, a loop, a dialogue, balance. The leaves, green with memory of light, give energy. The roots, dark with knowledge of depth, give strength. The roots never see the sun, but they know its work. They feel the sugars arriving and respond with care. They grow deeper, they branch and braid, hold the plant in place, even in the storm. Imagine a root tip now, small, pale, gentle. It pushes through soil, not by force, but by presence. It senses water, minerals, and voids. It chooses where to grow, one cell at a time, with a kind of earthy wisdom, and through these roots, the plant drinks. Water rises, drop by drop, pulled upward by the quiet draw of evaporation in the leaf. This invisible tension, called transpiration, lifts water 100 feet or more without a sound. No engine, no pump, just pull. You think of it as thirst. The leaf sips, and the root responds. The minerals, too, ride upward, calcium, potassium, magnesium. Tiny gifts from the ground, dissolved in the water. They feed the cycle, fuel the photosynthesis, strengthen the structure. All of this, happening now, even in the dark. especially in the dark, because while the leaf needs light to work, the root prefers the quiet. It rests in the coolness, protected from wind and sun. It listens to the soil, to fungi and worms, to droplets and rocks, to the secret language of the earth. And while the leaf offers outward to sky, to air, to sun, the root offers inward to stability, to memory, to rest. You lie between them now, leaf and root, and realize your body mirrors this design. Your skin drinks sunlight. Your core holds deep warmth. Your breath connects you to the air. But your bones connect you to the earth. You are a meeting place. Above you, a tree stretches toward the stars. Below you, its roots reach toward silence. And you, breathing slowly, feel the rhythm of both. The leaf cannot grow without the root. The root cannot feed without the leaf. It's a quiet lesson in unity, one that doesn't need words. Only time. Only trust. And as you drift into deeper stillness, you wonder, if roots and leaves are already so wise, then what happens when we try to learn from them? Can we borrow their design, their grace, their gift of green? Can we, too, capture sunlight? Not with leaves, but with light-built machines? Let's follow that question gently into the world of human hands and the first whisper of artificial leaves. The leaf has done its work for billions of years, quietly, flawlessly. It asks for nothing more than light, water, and air. And from those gifts it feeds the planet now. Humans watch. They wonder, and slowly they try to understand you are. Standing at the edge of something new. Artificial photosynthesis. The dream of capturing sunlight the way leaves do. Not with roots, not with chlorophyll, but with human hands and thoughtful minds. You imagine a laboratory. Quiet, sunlit. A desk scattered with wires and glass. And on that desk, a small panel, no bigger than a coin, gleams under a lamp. This isn't a leaf, but it wants to be. The scientist gently places a drop of water on its surface. A beam of light shines down. And then, invisibly, the work begins. Not with color, but with chemistry. Not with pigment, but with metal and memory. Artificial leaves. That's what they call these tiny devices. They're designed to copy the most sacred part of photosynthesis, the splitting of water. It's the gathering of sunlight. The transformation of invisible forces into fuel. But it's not easy. Nature took billions of years to refine this process, to balance sunlight, electrons, and oxygen with infinite grace. And yet, we try. Scientists build light-absorbing materials. Semiconductors, like silicon or titanium dioxide, that catch photons and stir electrons, much like chlorophyll. Then they add catalysts. Chemical helpers to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. It's just like in the leaf. You think of hydrogen. Now, not as a gas, but as stored sunlight. Silent battery. A molecule waiting to move, too warm to power. When artificial photosynthesis works, it creates hydrogen fuel from water and light. Clean, renewable, soft as breath, no smoke.
Ow.
No noise, no carbon released, just energy captured in the same way. The leaf has always done it, only this time by us. It feels like science fiction, but it's not. Real devices already exist. Some float on ponds, some hang in greenhouses. Some rest on rooftops, catching sun as the day passes. They aren't perfect. Not yet. Their efficiency is still small, their cost still high. But every step brings us closer. Closer to a world where leaves aren't the only ones who can feed on light. Closer to a world where we don't burn to move forward, but simply glow, and here in the calm of your thoughts, you begin to see the beauty of imitation. We aren't stealing from nature. We're learning from it. We're listening. The leaf has no patents, no pride. It gives its wisdom freely, to bees, to trees. To us, all we need to do is pay attention. The most advanced technologies in the world are shaped by the simplest ones. A leaf, a root, a drop of water touched by light. You wonder now, if we can split water like a plant, can we also turn carbon into sugar? Can we build a full system like photosynthesis that feeds rather than burns? It's Let's keep walking this path. Into the future's quiet garden, where sunlight may one day power not just leaves, but homes and cities. In the dreams of those yet to come, you step into a world of gentle light, not the scorching sun of midday, but a golden, drowsy kind of light, like the warmth that lingers before sleep. Around you, everything is quiet, but not. Still, solar panels tilt upward like petals. Glass walls shimmer faintly in the glow. A soft breeze moves past, carrying no smoke, no exhaust, only the scent of green things and morning air. This is not a dream. It is a vision, a possible tomorrow. One shaped not by fire and coal, but by photosynthesis. Not copied perfectly, but inspired because now we know that it's possible. Artificial leaves have shown us we can split water with sunlight. But scientists want to go further. They ask, can we also take carbon dioxide from the air, just as a leaf does, and turn it into fuel? Not just electricity, not just hydrogen, but liquid fuels, ones that can power airplanes, ships, cities. You picture this now. Tiny devices spread across a field, catching light, pulling in carbon, and exhaling something useful, methanol, ethanol, or even gasoline-like liquids. Not dug from ancient wells, but created in real time, from air, water, and light carbon-neutral. Sun-fed. Quiet as moss, the science is still growing. The steps are real. Light-catching materials capture the sun's energy. Special catalysts coax carbon dioxide to react, combining with hydrogen, just like in a leaf, to form carbon-based fuels. Some systems float on ponds. Some are printed like ink on thin films. Some even grow in algae tanks, where engineered cells mimic photosynthesis in microscopic form. Each one is a whisper of possibility. And while the machines are made of metal and wires, a blueprint comes from the leaf. The idea is not new. It's just waiting to be remembered. Nature shows us how. Take what is abundant, transform it gently, give more than you take, and that, you realize, is the heart of this new energy future. A future where cities run on light, where factories drink carbon instead of breathing it out, where the fuel that powers your movement comes, not from the past, but from the sky. You feel your body soften at the thought. Because it's not just science, it's peace. No rumbling engines, no clanging drills. It's just the hum of sunlight being changed into warmth, into food, into motion. And in that motion, the planet breathes easier. So do you. You lie still and imagine a car powered by sun. A plane that runs on air and water. A house with no smoke curling from the chimney. All of it possible. Not someday, but sooner than you think. Because the answers were always in the leaf. And now that we've learned to listen, we begin to wonder. Light and carbon can make fuel. Can they also build more complex things? Can we use photosynthesis to guide the design of whole systems, entire cities that behave like forests? Let's follow the sunlight a little farther, into the green prints of nature and the human hands that dare to learn from them. The leaf does not explain itself. It never stops to say, "This is how I work." It simply opens, listens to light, and begins. And so, we watch. In quiet labs, in glowing greenhouses, scientists press their palms and questions gently against nature's design. They don't try to dominate it. Not if they're wise. They observe. They trace. They study the choreography of sunlight electrons and enzymes like monks deciphering a sacred text, one written in sugar, in light, in breath. And you can almost see it now, a scroll unrolling across the centuries. It's ink green with meaning. Nature's blueprint is elegant, is efficient but not hurried, precise but never rigid. It uses what's available, sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and returns what's not needed. No waste, no war, only balance. You lie in this thought for a moment, feeling how different it is from so many of our machines. Where we build with noise, the leaf builds with quiet. Where we overdesign, plant refines, and yet we are learning. We are learning how to build fuel from air, how to use sunlight with care, how to design not just products but systems that work the way nature does. You imagine a building whose walls breathe, covered in artificial leaves or algae panels, drawing in CO during the day, releasing oxygen, harvesting light not just for power, but for purpose. You imagine windows that adjust their tint based on the angle of the sun, like petals that fold at dusk, fabrics that clean the air, roadways that store sunlight, farms that grow vertically in cities, fed by captured light and recycled water, all of it born from the leaf. And while the machines may look metallic or glassy, their spirit is green. Even our computers learn from this. The structure of chloroplasts, the network of mycelium beneath the forest floor. These become metaphors for better design, efficient networks, circular economies, adaptive systems. Nature doesn't centralize power, it shares it. The leaf doesn't hoard energy. It passes it on into fruit, into flower, into seed. What if our energy systems did the same? You let that thought drift through you like a breeze? Not a demand, not a plan. It's just a possibility. Because in truth, mimicking nature isn't about copying it perfectly. It's about listening, learning, honoring. It's about designing with humility. It's with softness. With the knowledge that what has worked for billions of years is worth studying closely. So we continue to trace the blueprint. With our microscopes, our questions, our quiet awe, and in each pigment, each reaction, each graceful turn of the Calvin cycle, we see not just how to make energy, but how to live. Gently, generously. Green dot. And now you wonder, if all of this has grown from the miracle of one simple leaf, what kind of future might bloom from many? Not just one machine, but a whole world, rooted in light, sustained by balance. Calm as a forest. Let's drift there next into the green future, whispered to the moon. The future does not arrive with thunder. It comes like sunlight at dawn. Soft, steady, sure. You open your eyes in this imagined tomorrow, and nothing feels forced. There are no smokestacks, no wires snarled in the sky, no endless hum of machines straining to catch up. It's just the gentle, familiar rhythm of breath and light. This world is not built in opposition to nature. It is nature extended, evolved, honored. You walk past buildings clothed in green. Living walls hum with vines and moss, pulling carbon from the air, releasing moisture, filtering dust, cooling the skin of the city. Their surfaces catch light the way leaves do, not for decoration, but for energy. Photosynthesis, reimagined. In glass and circuit, above you, rooftops shimmer with artificial leaves, quietly turning sunlight into stored fuel. Hydrogen tanks rest under gardens. There are no fuels being burned, only shared. You see children drawing solar trees in chalk on the sidewalk. You see kitchens powered by light that once fed strawberries. You see buses that run not on fire but on air, split cleanly by sun-fed, panels gliding as gently as clouds, and beneath it all, roots still stretch. Actual roots and metaphorical ones. Old trees, old traditions. The ancient agreement, to give as much as we take. In this future, that agreement has been remembered. Written into every material, every plan, every policy. Even the cities move slowly, not sluggish but intentional people. Pause in courtyards that breathe. Water is cycled gently through moss beds. Streetlights bloom only as needed like fireflies. Waste is rare because everything loops, like the carbon in a leaf, like the breath between you and the tree. Energy. Here is quiet. No coal is cut. No gas is burned. Instead, sunlight is stored as molecules and fuels made of air and water, harmless to keep, easy to share. They wait, patient like seeds. Used only when needed, never wasted, and you feel something shift in your chest. A calm knowing that this is not a fantasy. It's a direction we have already begun, already learned from the leaf. Not to dominate the world, but to listen to it. To walk beside the forest, not ahead of it. And you are part of this, to daughter every choice you make, every breath you take. It's part of the same cycle the leaf once began. You are not separate from photosynthesis. You are its echo, its continuation, a moving, breathing memory of sun caught by green dot. So rest here in this vision. Let it hold you. Let the warmth of light-made fuel glow softly inside your imagination. Let your dreams curl around, Moscowward. Walls, solar-fed rivers, air that smells like morning. And when you wake gently, remember this: the future begins not in machines, but in the quiet mimicry of a single leaf, and your next breath, soft and calm, is already a part of it.